I think I finally figured out one of the largest public housing scams in California. So LA County has about 150,000 subsidized housing units, but 13% of these are unoccupied and available for rent. And with 75,000 homeless people, you would expect that subsidized housing vacancy rate to be extremely low. There are people who their whole job is to get homeless people into these units, and from what I've been told, they can't. Now, here is a rent-restricted unit renting in LA for $2,200 a month that is listed by this real estate company called Miller and Desatnik. You can see right here, this building is an LA City affordable housing site. And property owners get a bunch of incentives for participating in these low-income housing programs like tax credits and grants and a bunch of other goodies. But here's the scam. To apply to this unit that I just showed you, there is a non-refundable $45 application fee that all applicants must pay. So what I've been told that they do is they just collect this $45 application fee over and over again without accepting any of the applicants. I got a tip from a housing specialist for homeless veterans about this particular company, Miller and Desatnik, and they said they've never been able to get anybody in there. And here's how the math would work. This unit is renting for $2,200 a month. But let's say they're getting 5 applicants a day. That's $45 per applicant. Let's say there's 28 business days per month. Multiply that by 45. That would be $6,300 a month they would be making. That's almost 3 times the amount that they would collect if they were to have just rented this unit out. And based on the property history, it looks like this might be happening. Because look, they listed it for rent in May of 2024. Then they removed it in July, listed it again in August, then did a price change, another price change, another price change, and now this unit's been just sitting there for almost a whole year. Like, why go through the process of renting a unit out when you could just collect the application fee, keep it empty, while also collecting tax incentives and grants from the government? Sounds like a pretty good deal. So this 13% vacancy rate, I think, is deliberate and criminal in my opinion. Anyway, one of the big projects that I have going on this year is to dive into all these homelessness industrial complex scams, so definitely feel free to follow me for more.
Get it. You want to see progress, and you want to see it now. You want to see progress in terms of encampments. You want to see progress in terms of people off the streets. And as the mayor said, you want to see our values represented in that progress. No one's naive.
And don't let his good looks fool you, because he's up to something. Okay, so the context is, in my last video, I exposed this loophole, some might call it a scam, where public housing providers are intentionally keeping units vacant in order to perpetually collect the application fee, because that actually makes them way more money than the rent would. And a lot of people in the comment section were rightly outraged by this. Like, yeah, this is Sopranos type stuff. But some people rightly pointed out that a new law that was just passed in California was supposed to do away with this whole scam. AB 2493, in effect January 1st of this year, supposedly enforces stricter regulations on rent application fees. A lot of conditions that the landlord must meet in order to collect an application fee, and also stipulates when an application fee should be refunded. But as Gavin Newsom often does, that law is designed in a way where it looks like he wants to help people, but in fact, it does the complete opposite. Because check out this clause. A landlord or their agent shall not be required to refund an application screening fee to an applicant whose application is denied after consideration because the applicant does not meet the landlord's established screening criteria. So basically, as long as they give a reason for denying an applicant, they can keep the application fee. And I think a lot of us maybe even had personal experience with being denied when applying to housing, and they could pretty much find every little reason to deny you. So why would Gavin Newsom build in this loophole? Well, remember when Gavin Newsom was going through a recall election a few years ago? Real estate players were his largest campaign contributors to keep him in office. $5.3 million that he got from the real estate industry, and that money does not come free. Devil's bargain. They keep him in office, and he does whatever they tell him to do. I got more of this coming, so feel free to follow me as we keep exposing this boondoggle. This lady is Valicia Adams Kellum. She's the CEO of the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, in charge of managing over $800 million annually in federal, state, county, and city funds towards homeless shelters. It's a big responsibility, so they pay her a monster salary, $430,000 a year. And what's she been up to? Felicia has just been exposed for funneling millions of dollars worth of contracts to her husband. Quote, documents show that Valicia Adams Kellum, chief executive of the LA Homeless Services Authority, signed a $2.1 million contract and 2 other contract amendments with Upward Bound House, the Santa Monica-based nonprofit where her husband, Edward Kellum, works in senior leadership. And here he is, Director of Operations and Compliance. Compliance. The irony is not lost on me. And for context, $2.1 million is about a quarter of Upward Bound House's total funding. So I would say Valicia's generosity is quite critical for this organization. Except that organization may not be what it seems. Haley Maria Van Nuys wrote that, personally, she feels sorry for all the new homeless families coming into this program thinking they're going to get help when they're not. That place isn't there for helping people. It's a sad money trench with a homeless face to back it up. Don't donate and stay as far away as possible. Not shocking. For journalistic integrity, I must say that Adams Kellum has denied wrongdoing. A LASA spokesperson told LAist that the contracts had inadvertently ended up in front of Adams Kellum to sign. Except, she's done it 3 separate times, so not shady at all. The agency also said that they have pledged additional staff training to prevent future incidents. Such a joke.